Hi everyone. We're starting to wrap up and everyone take your seats. My name is Carolina. I am opening this up and I wanted to introduce Aaron Luck. He will be here speaking and it's a very special day for us. Aaron, thank you.
Carolina, there we go. So hi everybody, I'm normally a very loud person, so if you're sitting like right in front of me, I'm sorry that you have to hear me being loud. The sound waves are going to hit your ears and then you have to hear it reverberate through this thing, so I apologize in advance. I'm just a boisterous person. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody that came out to support this day, this great event, and my good friend, Adam DeRito. A little bit about myself so you know, give it up, look, there we go. I'm not used to people liking what I say on microphone, so I don't have my applause breaks built in yet. So it's a whole thing, don't worry about it. Just a little bit about myself. So I was a normal kid. If you're looking for the example of what a privileged young American looks like, it's me. I grew up in a stable household. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. There's 4 boys. All 4 of us boys went into the active duty military. I enlisted in the military September 13th of 2001. Now, I know that some of our memories are a little bit short, but you may remember on September 11th, 2001, a pretty big event happened in the United States of America. And I was in the recruiting office about 2 days after that. I looked at my dad. I came from a proud family. He was a fireman. He was in the Army for a brief period right after the Vietnam War. Both of my grandparents were in the Navy. A lot of my uncles were in the Army and the Air Force. And I looked at my dad and I said, hey, Dad, I think we're going to have to go fight this one out. I don't think this is going to be a diplomatic resolve to what just happened in New York City. And he said, I agree with you. I want you to go check out the Air Force. So I went to the Air Force recruiter. And off I went to the races. It didn't take very long to get in. I was at basic training January of 2002 and ended up serving 24 years in the United States military, the most of it 18 years in special operations. So you may not know it, but inside the Air Force, just like the Army, the Navy, and the Marines, we have ground force special operators that are there to do special operations missions, and the Air Force is no different. I was a pararescueman. The motto of a pararescue career field or of a pararescue man is that others may live. Meaning, no matter what happens, if you get shot down behind enemy lines, if you're Jessica Lynch and you've been taken to an Iraqi hospital, if you're looking for help in the middle of Black Hawk Down, there's one team that you call and it's a pararescue team. And I was lucky enough to do that for 24 years of my life in the United States Air Force. Right before I retired here at the beginning of, finally all the way out, in the beginning of 25, I stopped going to work in the beginning of 24. I have combat deployments to Iraq, Afghanistan, a bunch of places in Africa, and some other places that I can't tell you, which makes it sound really cool. It wasn't really cool. I just can't tell you where I went. I did a lot of sitting around, which is a good thing, because if they didn't need to call us, that means no one was in trouble, and that was good. I tell you all of that to tell you this. At the end of my career, from 2020 until now, I felt lost. I looked around at a country that I didn't necessarily vibe with, to use a word that the kids use today. I didn't understand where the morals and the values and the culture that I had grown up, that were so ingrained in me as a patriot, as a true American citizen. I felt like I was lost, and I felt like I didn't have people that I could look to say, hey, this is where we're going. This is what we're fighting for. This is what we care about. And I was able to find that after my military career with an opportunity that I didn't think that I would ever accept. An opportunity came up to start a PAC, a political action committee. And they said, Aaron, we want you to run it. We want you to be the chairman. We want you to take this thing forward and get these people in, these proven veterans, these combat GWAT veterans. We want them to get into battleground states, and we want them to be the standard bearer for what we're doing moving forward to get America back on track. I'm going to tell you something transparently. I abhor politics. I don't like the two-party system that we're in. I am a constitutional literist as close as you can possibly get to what the founders meant for this country, because I know what it means to serve. I know what it meant to the founders when we had elected representatives that would leave their families and their livelihoods for months and sometimes years at a time to go to Washington, D.C. to represent the constituents of the United States of America. I know the great honor that it was to be in elected service, to be in representative of a constituents inside of this great republic that we have. I had no idea that I wanted to be involved in this, but I did know one thing. I wanted to find people that would fight for us. I wanted to find people that I could look to, like in a room of darkness, I could find one speck of light and go, wait a second, you and I align on this. You and I care about America. You and I care to fight for these things that many men have fought and bled and died for. Men and women of this country that led us up to this moment. 250 years is a long time for an empire to be on top. We're approaching our 250th year anniversary next year. It's a big deal because we're not supposed to be here, but we got here by fighting. I'm going to tell you one of my favorite mouthfors, and this is why I'm no good in the political environment, is because I have mouthfors that I love. If you don't know what a mouthfor is, it's a common phrase that you take, you change it just slightly, and then you connect with that and you use it as if it's your own saying. Has everybody heard the saying, I'm willing to die on that hill? It means that there's something that's so important to you that you're willing to martyr yourself for that cause. I've changed that a little bit. I'm willing to kill on those hills. Somebody's going to die. For these things, these morals, these values, for these things that I served 24 years in service of this great nation and the Constitution, I'm willing to kill on that hill. For those things that I hold dear and for this country, I made a habit out of being very aggressive for 24 years, and I have no reason to stop that now. I just have to find a different way to serve. Colorado is at the forefront of every single fight in America, whether you like it or not. It seems weird when you neck it down from global politics to really what your local issues are. Colorado is on the forefront of all of those. Energy, culture. Where are we going as a nation? What do we value? What do we think is important? Everything that you're fighting for here in Colorado is happening on a larger stage, and you're on the front lines of it. And you need somebody that's going to fight for you. You need somebody that's going to kill on that hill for you. And that brings me to today. I've known Adam DeRito for more than 10 years. Adam DeRito actually knew my wife. He lived across the hall from my wife in the Air Force Academy before I had ever met Adam. And I met Adam through my wife. And we were dating at the time, so that's awkward. She said, here's my friend Adam. I lived across the hall from him. It's like, oh, you went to college with this guy. You can imagine the fun relationship conversations we had on that, but thank goodness. Adam is a morally and ethically sound man. I've known Adam for 10 years. Through his fight to protect sexual assault survivors at our service academies, through his fight to right the actions that were done incorrectly to him, he has shown me that he's the type of person that will stand up against insurmountable odds. Imagine being a service member that they've tried to strip, shame, and lie about openly. And imagine having the courage to stand up on your own to the United States government and say you're wrong and then be proven right. Imagine the type of fortitude that you need after months and weeks and years of your real name being drugged through the mud and still loving this country, even though the country and the government were the people that were doing it to you. Imagine the sort of intestinal fortitude it takes for a man to spend years of his life to correct the wrongs that were done to him by a system that was unjust, to have it proven correct. That is who you need for Colorado. That is who you need to fight in those rooms. When your voices aren't inside of those four walls, you need someone that knows what a fight looks like, knows how to win it, and has the Constitution to take it as far as it needs to go. The question isn't, are we willing to do the thing that we need to do to get America back on track? The question is, do we possess the Constitution to do everything that we need to do? One person in this room does have that, and that's Adam DeRito. I'm going to bring him up right now. It is my hope, it is my dream, that this is the next congressman representing the 8th District of Colorado, Adam DeRito.
Well, first, before I start this speech, I took a lot of time reading. Like these pictures is great, right? Well, World recruiting posters, because I think what's defining America now is what made us great to begin with. And that's bringing all those people from all different types of, religions and races and jobs and everything else, and bringing people together. And we needed that when we fought the great wars in the United States. And that's why I decided to put myself as the guy in the yellow tie on these posters. So, my name is Adam DeRito. And today I am announcing my campaign for Congress in Colorado's 8th Congressional District. Yeah! I'm running because I believe that our community is stronger than the politics that divide us. And because the people of this district deserve a representative who actually puts in the real work, listens with humility, and fights for everyone who calls this place home. On December 7, 1941, when 2,403 Americans were taken from us at Pearl Harbor, a wounded and divided nation found strength to stand as one. On December 7, 2025, I am asking the people of Colorado's 8th District to summon that same courage and unity to send me to Washington, D.C. to defend them with the same devotion our forefathers showed us when the country needed them most. Colorado's 8th District is one of the most diverse and hardworking districts in America. We are farmers, ranchers, union laborers, refinery workers, teachers, veterans, small business owners, parents of young families, and retirees just trying to make ends meet. We come from many backgrounds. We speak different languages. We pray in different ways. We vote differently, yet we all want those same things: to raise our families in safety, to build a better future for our children, to work dignified jobs and afford a decent life, and to live with respect. Those are everyday American values that I'm here to fight for. Nobody is free to raise their family in safety without a secure border free from drug and human trafficking. Nobody is free if they can't afford to live. Nobody is free if they lack the education and ability to think for themselves rather than being told what to think. Nobody is free if they work hard and they play by the rules, but they're still oppressed by an unaffordable and inaccessible housing market. If the ability to be free is not available to every citizen, then none of us are free. I've worn many uniforms in my life, but the one that shaped me the most was not military fatigues. It was the humility of standing in front of a classroom as a substitute teacher at a local small Catholic school, helping kids learn and hearing their hopes, their dreams, and their fears. It reminded me that public service is not about people, and it's not about politics. It's about all of us living here in the community together. It has taught me that every community has a story worth hearing, and that every voice deserves dignity. And before that, I served as a firefighter, as an EMT, as a search and rescue technician, and currently as a paratrooper. I served overseas in a combat zone as an intelligence analyst and a special forces parachute rigger with the Colorado Army National Guard. I've responded to our home state to raging wildfires, and I've domestically served as a security element in Washington, D.C. I've spent over a decade in the oil and gas industry, working long night shifts in the past with refinery workers, rig hands, and my fellow union brothers and sisters across the trades who power this state. I saw the struggles of families trying to keep food on the table. I learned what it means to work until your hands hurt and your eyes burn with sweat because people are counting on you. Today, I still serve as an officer in the Army Reserve, and I'm leading young men and women in the greatest fighting force that the world has ever known. Those experiences have given me a deep respect for my fellow Americans who keep Colorado alive. This district needs a representative who understands real work and real sacrifice. Someone who does not stand behind symbolic votes or partisan theatrics. Someone who delivers results for the people, who does not ask for attention, but who always puts their community first. Ask yourself, has your current representatives made you feel more or less free? Have you gotten closer to your version of the American dream? Right now, Washington is stuck fighting culture wars that do not build a single mile of road and bring home a single dollar to improve life here in Colorado. While members of Congress waste time standing in front of cameras for meaningless social media posts, photo ops, and childless antics, our hospitals are struggling with rising costs. Our farmers are facing water shortages. Our ranchers are facing unpredictable markets. Our oil and gas workers are facing regulatory whiplash. The world we live in is going to drastically change because of the artificial intelligence programs and other forces that are bigger than you and I. Our highways and water systems need investment. Our veterans are still fighting for our basic benefits. Our unions are struggling to secure the resources they need to keep our critical infrastructure safe. But these problems are not going to be solved with empty words or promises that are never kept. And I would know that from experience from working with these people for over 20 years. They will be solved by rolling up our sleeves, sitting down with people from across all political backgrounds, and fighting for realistic solutions that keep working families safe. I am running because I believe that I have the courage to be disliked. The courage to make decisions that are moral and ethical for the district and not convenient for political talking points. The ability to speak with anyone from any background and truly listen. A representative must be resolute and disciplined enough to ensure that as the world changes, it is done in a responsible manner so that our fellow citizens will live in confidence, knowing that there is a place at the table for them in the future, rather than the fear of thinking that they're going to be left behind. The courage to represent people who may never vote for me, but whose lives matter just as much as anyone else. I am running because I believe that this country works when we talk to each other again, when we look past party lines and see American citizens just trying to build life, when we replace anger with empathy and division with genuine conversation. This district is a place where Democratic parents, conservative ranchers, legal immigrant families, unaffiliated voters, young workers, and lifelong Coloradans live side by side, and our representative should reflect that, and I will. I will fight for strong unions and skilled trades to keep our infrastructure standing and our economy strong. I will stand with farmers and ranchers to protect their water and the land that they live on. I will defend energy workers and ensure Colorado remains a leader in responsible production and keeps our families warm and safe and our state financially strong. I will fight for veterans who have carried the burdens of war and deserve more than rhetoric. I will work to expand healthcare access and lower costs so families never have to face impossible choices. I will protect our children, support our teachers, law enforcement, our first responders, small business, and anyone who is willing to work for a better life. Bold, proven, and principled. These aren't slogans, they're commitments. I am bold because this district deserves a leader willing to challenge the status quo. I am proven because I have served a life of service in classrooms, combat zones, oil fields, and communities across Colorado and throughout the nation. I am principled because I put God first, always listen to people with humility, and treat everyone with respect. And I uphold the Constitution with integrity. This campaign is not about left or right. It's about right and wrong. And to bring decency and dedication back to leadership. It's about delivering results for hardworking families who want solutions and not more problems. So I invite every single Republican, Democrat, and unaffiliated voter to join me. You don't have to agree with me on every issue, but you must only believe that we can treat each other with enough respect and work together for the greater good. So let us build a Colorado with honesty, courage, and compassion. Let us rise above symbolic politics and focus only on what matters. Let us remember that we are neighbors before we are partisans, American citizens before we are anything else. Here I am. Send me. America first, Colorado always, freedom forever. May Colorado be blessed in Colorado's 8th district, and may God bless the United States of America.
Thank you so much. So I'll just do a little after now. I'm not trying to keep this running all day, but I understand this district is really competitive, and there's a lot of people, a lot of immigrant families, and a lot of people living here. And what I've seen is this district continuously decline over the years. We have an airport that's going to be expanding to twice its size in the next 5 to 8 years. We have BNSF railways. We have massive oil and gas reserves. We have so many jobs and opportunity in the industrial heartbeat of America. And we're letting it decline because representatives in the state, they don't care about you. And I know this from experience. As Aaron said, I have fought the United States military for 15 years to be righted for a wrong that was done to me. You can Google me. I'm all over the internet. I even wrote a book on it. It's called The Guy in the Yellow Tie. Hence why I'm here. But when I went to these representatives over 15 years, from Ken Buck, Doug Lamborn, and Lauren Boebert, Gabe Evans, Jeff Hurd, and Jeff Crank, they did absolutely nothing. Nothing. When I had a veteran come to me with stage 4 glioblastoma cancer, and he said, DeRito, I need help so I can get community care because I'm going to die if I don't get into the VA, and the VA has a 2-year waiting list. And that representative ignored him. We had to go to Arizona to go to Eli Crane to get him medical care in Texas. Why is that happening in Colorado? And these are my younger veterans, and that's not including my Vietnam veterans, my World War II veterans, Korea veterans, Gulf War veterans, Bosnia, Kosovo. We're being ignored. We have 35,000 veterans in Colorado's 8th district, and we have to drive an hour to either go to Cheyenne or Denver because we can't get quick access to community care right now, and that needs to change. We have an entire democratic society in Denver that the Public Utilities Commission comes out and says the other day that we're going to switch everything over to electricity. We have 4,000 years of natural gas in the state. We could build combined cycle natural gas plants tomorrow to get ready for the AI generation and more electricity and cheaper energy costs. But Excel wants to raise our rates and put us more in a deficit, $1.8 billion I think we're at,
and our federal representatives refuse to work with our local representatives to change anything. It's not that hard. Not a single representative in the state has passed a bill their entire time in Congress. Anyone know that? Not a single one. They like to tout, oh, well, we have a bill being passed to help veterans to, if my father or mother or brother, son, uncle gets killed in combat, they get a free national park pass. Thank you. I want a $50 gift certificate to go to the Grand Tetons. Yeah, that's what I want. We have one representative who passed a simple sale of a certain county of federal land to the local city council. Who cares? That's not affecting the tens of thousands and millions of people that you represent. And it's time to change that. And I am not afraid to go against these people. I've done it for 15 years. You can ask anyone who's worked with me in DC. I am not afraid to shake the boat and work across the aisle with Democrats, Libertarians, and Republicans, because that's what's necessary. Are we going to agree on social issues? Probably not. I'm an unapologetic conservative Catholic. It's not going to change, right? So you know where I stand on those things. But we can agree to build some roads. I mean, we lost a $25 million paving contract in this state, the only refinery in Colorado, and that's why your roads aren't getting paved, because not a single representative tried to stop that. And now we have to buy our asphalt in another state and ship it back here, causing more emissions that they were complaining about in the first place. So it's time for somebody who actually works in the industry. That's me. I've worked in oil and gas for over a decade. This is my life. I'm still an Army Reserve officer, and some of my soldiers are here today, and thank you so much for being here. It means a lot. But no one's fighting for us anymore. And we have 2 more years with President Trump to actually get these initiatives pushed, because after that, it's going to go back to the good old boys club. They're going to go back to business as always. They're going to keep, these representatives are just waiting their time out, so when Trump gets out, they can go back to the way things have always been. I'm not going to let that happen out here. I'm going to be in this district every week like an airline pilot if I can. I personally don't like just hanging out in DC. It's not a place you want to live. I have somebody who's assigned to that, and he'll be more available in the future. But I want to be in the district. I want to have coffee with my constituents. I want to meet local families. I want to know what your issues are. And I'm going to bring them to DC, and we're going to pass bills and change it. We're just going to do the work that has not been done in the state the entire time I've been out here since 2006. I've lived out here my entire adult life, and I'm not leaving. And I'm going to fight for it every second that I have left. And I hope you all will join me, and we can change the state. We don't need to keep re-electing incumbents who don't do their job. Just because they're an incumbent, just because they have a fancy letter next to their name, doesn't mean that we have to keep them in for the sake of it. The reason we have 2-year elections for state representative, if you're not doing your job, you're fired, we're replacing somebody with somebody else. I'm that man, and I will do that job. And if I fail, fire me in 2028. I'm telling you that right now. If I fail to deliver, fire me. But give me the chance, give me the opportunity, because I will not fail. It is not an option. And thank you so much for being here today.